Hello, lovelies. Today I want to show you a junk journal that I made for my mother, actually, and I want to get this recorded before she shows up this evening and gets her surprise. This is actually my second attempt at putting one of these together, so it's not perfect. It definitely has some flaws, but I really had a lot of fun doing this, so let me show you what I did. My mother, for those who don't know, is a seamstress. Sewing is a huge part of her life, so one of the main repeated themes we're going to see in this journal is sewing related. And I also wanted to keep it very vintage because my mother is also very, very vintage. So this one has 5 signatures, and they are all sewn in, so it's a sewn in binding. I added a little charm that is removable for her. It has scraps of fabric, scraps of thread, some bronze beads, an empty spool of thread, and it actually has a little dress form, which I thought was just adorable. So that's the charm on the side. I also surrounded the entire book in a stretchy burgundy textured fabric. Get a close-up of it here. Because it was a sewing journal and I wanted it to be sewing related, I knew I definitely didn't want this to have a traditional cover. I wanted it to be fabric and have lots of fabric and scraps and thread in there. So let's get this open. We have our seam binding ribbon here, and it just wraps all the way around a few times, and it's attached just by a simple eyelet in the front. On the cover, we have a picture. I got this one, most of the pictures in here are actually going to be either Tim Holtz or they were taken off of Pinterest. So if anybody actually knows or recognizes any of these actual prints or photos and knows who did them or who they might be related to, you can put that in some comments down below so other people know. So this is a picture of a vintage sewing machine and a vintage lady sewing, well, just looking cute while sewing, I suppose. And we have a lace butterfly in the top corner here. We have it affixed over an old book page that I distressed and coffee dyed. We also have some vintage lace, some more fabric scraps, tulle, and a fabric flower with some beading over the corner here for a little embellishment. Now this sucker is, it's really, really full. So it might take us a few minutes to get through this. Let's get started. So on the inside cover here, I actually used a vintage polka dot to cover the binding. And I actually have, let me actually give you a close-up of this one if I can. It's embossed, and it looks like dictionary page and just flowers embossed over it. This was actually the cover of a card. I believe it was a Mother's Day card that I've had sitting around for years that I've actually never used or sent to anybody. I have stacks of cards, you have no idea. But I thought it would be perfect in here, so I cut the front of the card off and I just glued it in here for the inside cover because I thought it was pretty. So in the first signature, I have a sheet of some polka dot vellum and a chalkboard label. So actually this can be written on with chalk. I thought that was fun. And then we have just a plain piece of cardstock for some journaling. And just had a little visual interest and just a little pop of the sewing. I actually stitched on a lot of these pages just with some DMC thread and poked some holes with my awl and laced it all through like a corset and just tied them off. So there's just some random spots on a couple random pages throughout, so you can watch for that here. And we have another one of those lace butterflies, some more of that vintage paper, and this one's a pocket, and so we have just a little Tim Holtz tag in there. And I have this gift bag. I don't even remember where I got it. I saved it, and it was in my bin of wrapping paper, and I have this huge bin of wrapping paper. And I got it out and I thought it would be cute because it went really well with the front page that I did here. And I just cut it open on both ends and I stuck it in, so this is in 2 different parts of the book. And inside I tucked some sewing pattern paper, and we have this little page here. The edges are distressed and burnt, and it's actually just a journaling page, but it's got a whole bunch of vintage sewing information, or corsets, things like that on the front, so I thought that was nice. Just a little spot for some extra journaling that she can do if she wants. I'll tuck that back in there. And all the paper in here has been coffee dyed or distressed, so it actually smells really good. So we have some lined paper in here. I also have some, this was actually packing paper, and it came in one of my many packages from eBay and Amazon, and it just comes in these sheets, and I never knew what to do with it, but I didn't want to throw it away. So I cut it to page size and I stuck it in here, and I think it's nice. And then I affixed a strip of tulle to the edge just to give it a little added flair. I also have some pattern pages, old pattern pages in here, and this one I actually threaded some ribbon through. We have some more plain coffee dyed paper with some washi tape trim on the edge of this one. I have some coffee dyed music pages because my mom is also a musician. On this side I have another pocket that I created out of some book pages, some cardstock. I distressed it. I made a flower, paper flower, out of more of that book page, and I added a little vintage button to the center. We have fabric scraps and tulle behind it there, and then we also have some more ephemera back here. So some Tim Holtz tickets, sewing related, obviously, an old vintage advertisement, and then just a journaling card I made out of some scrapbook paper. And don't ask what pack I used. I have no idea. I don't remember. And that'll probably happen for the rest of this book. My memory's shot. 4 kids and it's down the drain. So here's the other side of that one with some more washi tape here. On this other side of the pattern page, I added some vintage lace to the edge, a piece of tulle here, and another button. And these buttons are all brass or metal. There's not very many of the little plastic buttons in here. On this side I added more of that polka dots. This is a tuck. And I printed off, I found some old images on Google. Oh, that one got stuck. There we go. I found some old images on Google of some vintage sewing patterns, and I just printed them out after shrinking them in size and then attached them to some cardstock. So she's got journaling cards in here that look like old vintage dress patterns. I thought that was a lot of fun, and that'll speak to her. On this side we have another pocket I made out of some distressed book pages, and this one's got a corner tuck here. So we've got some more ephemera in here from Tim Holtz, a little picture of a sewing machine, vintage sewing machine I found on Google, and this one's actually a fabric flower with some feathers, another metal button, and I added some twine in there just to give it a little more texture. Okay, and on the other side here I added some strips of fabric, some tulle, and another button. More coffee dyed paper with some lace run through, not lace, excuse me, thread run through. Here's the other side of that bag. Inside here, we have another piece of ephemera I actually found on Pinterest and printed off onto some cardstock. I thought this was it's really, really pretty. I'm sure she'll enjoy that. If anything, she'll at least enjoy all of the pictures. On this side we have a corner tuck at the top. I embellished the edge here. I did not use a punch. I know some people have these fancy punches, but like I said, this is like only my second one. I don't really have all those things, so this was actually done with just a pair of scissors. And then I have some more Tim Holtz ephemera, and then this one I found off Pinterest as well because I said sew, and I thought that was cute. Again, these are all backed with cardstock, so she'll be able to write on the back of everything. And then more vellum, and that's the end of the first signature. Now each signature is covered with one good sheet of cardstock and a piece of vellum because I wanted to differentiate between the different signatures. So on the front of this one, I actually added a little journaling tag with some pom-pom ribbon with a picture of my folks. And she can swap that out if she wants because it's just a little clear pocket here for a photo. And then we have a different sheet of vellum here. Ran some more thread through. corner tuck at the top. This one actually has little spools of thread, vintage ones. I thought that was cute. Turn those into some journaling cards. And then this one I really like. I found this as a printable on Pinterest, and it was free. And I just printed it out, and then I fussy cut it out and folded it together, and it made a little envelope. And inside the envelope, it has 3 little journaling cards that match. So I thought that was really cute. I'll get those back in there. So we have that as well. More coffee dyed paper. On this side, the piece of that bag I had to cut off. I didn't want to go to waste, and it had a self-stick adhesive seal on the other side, so I adhered it to some more of that packing paper, and I created 2 identical tags. I'll show you one. I used those scissors and I cut out the trim again on the edge, added some sticky pearls and some coffee dyed lace to the top. So it's all nice and fancy, because my mother is a little fancy. This was fun. I found some measuring tape made out of paper, and so I cut it into a few strips, and on a couple of these pages I used the measuring tape as trim. I thought that was kind of cute. More paper. This one I added some fancy washi tape. That's also Tim Holtz. This one I threaded all the way up the music page. And here, this was so much fun. I'd take it off if I could, but I glued it down. Now this one's actually a file folder. I made this mini file folder, which was so cute. I trimmed it in more of that paper measuring tape. I added some vintage stamps to it because she does like some of that older stuff. When you open it up, I added an extra flap just for more stuff. Trimmed it with some washi tape. And there's a journaling card in here and just a plain piece of coffee dyed paper that's folded in 3, so it's a trifold, I think is how they refer to it, and it's just pinned in there with a rose-colored, paper clip, and it just folds back up and it looks like a little mini manila envelope. I thought that was just so cute. It's probably my favorite thing in here. Okay, we have more paper, more pattern paper. This one I created my own little piece of ephemera. This was actually extras left over from something else that's in the book later, which I'll show you, which actually might truly be my favorite thing next to the file folder. So I cut out a piece of Aida cloth or cross-stitch cloth, added a genuine needle, that's a real needle in there, and this is glued down to the page. I sewed on a button and I left the attached thread to hang, and then I added that little piece of DMC floss I had left and just knotted it at the bottom and glued it on. I thought that was cute. And then up here, just paper clipped down, I have Sewing Forever, Housework Whenever. I thought that was cute. Give her a little laugh. And then I stitched more at the bottom. A little meta frame now here. And here, just some more pieces of ephemera. This is cute. So I found this old packet of organ needles. I'm not sure what this is for. I mean, I think it's for the sewing machine, like the needles they put on the foot. And guys, I don't know how to sew. I'm going to pretend I know what I'm talking about. And I glued a little piece of tulle to it, added that last little touch of leftover measuring tape, and actually inside this, and I don't want to take it out because they're so hard to get in, I made little tiny miniature journaling cards and I stuck them in here, and there's like 2 of them. It's really, really cute. I'm not sure how anyone would write on those, but it was adorable and I wanted to do it. So we have a double corner tuck here. This one has a picture of an old vintage camera, and that sits into this first tuck here. And then this one I really liked, not necessarily sewing related, but it added to the flowers because there's kind of a flower theme going in here as well. There's lines on the front so she can write, and it's attached to cardstock for the back so she can write. So I like that. And more sewing at the top here. And that is the end of second signature. And there's another flap here. She can do whatever she wants with. On this one, I added another one of these little cardstock flaps, but this one has some elastic sewn to it as a little belly band, so she can tuck some things in there. I thought that was nice. Polka dot vellum here. We stitched on this one as well. This one has a bottom rounded corner pocket, or tuck, excuse me, and 2 more of those vintage patterns that I found. These are so, so cute. I really like how those turned out. I'm glad I was able to do that. I think that adds to it. More paper. And on this one, let me explain it first before I show you the adorable pictures of my kids, which you've all seen before. It's on that paper, and I added some washi tape to the top, and this is all sheets of, they call it a waterfall, and they usually do it as a waterfall mat for photos, and they make it out of cardstock, but I wanted to make it more sewing related, so I did it on pattern paper. So I've got all 4 of my kids on each one, and then I have my niece and nephew on the back one. So she's got all of her grandkids on this little waterfall. Super cute. This one was another flower. Supposed to look like a seed packet, which I thought was cute, and that just has a little tag in there with some ribbon on it. Now this part took me a while. Took me 2 days to finish, and there's 2 sides to this actually. I cross-stitched this and turned it into a page for the book. So it says, I stitched, therefore I am. And then I glued it to cover up the back to the back of some cardstock. And actually, this cardstock is cute. You can't really tell, but it's book pages out of the book called Little Women. And that's actually a book my mother made me read when I was a kid, so I thought it'd be a little ironic to throw that in here. So it backs the back of this. We'll see the other part of it in a second. I found this on Google as well, really old vintage pattern. So I fussy cut it out to look like the actual pattern bag was open. And then I tucked back here an actual pattern to go inside of it, which I thought was very cute. So that's another journaling card in there as well. Now we have more music, more thread. This is the very center of the book, so center of signature 3, and I added, because I've seen some people do this on their channels, I thought it was cute, I added a little charm, but this one is actually a locket, which I thought was just sweet. So it adds a cute little touch. I like it. And this one, we put it across the top here. Now on this side I found some old vintage pictures of button cards, and I printed those off and actually glued them to cardstock to make them button cards, and then I sewed buttons onto them. Some old little buttons. And then I glued them onto the page. So this is more of that little woman. Oh, there it is, see? Right there. And here's the other part of the cross stitch, which I thought was cute. This one says sewing room, and I actually wrapped some ribbon around the spools. And I actually stuck real push pins inside the pin cushion. So that's cute. I like that. Hopefully she likes that part. Okay, and on the back of this one we have more of that measuring tape. Another button card that I sewed some buttons onto, and then I added some twine and tulle to the top. I coffee dyed the tulle as well. I kind of went crazy and coffee dyed everything because it just smelled so good. I just said, hell with it, I'll do it all. Here's another corner tuck. We have some vintage scissors on a card, and then some more roses. My mom actually does like roses, so I think that works out. More sewing here, and that's the end of that signature. Signature 4, yeah, I told you guys, this one is big. This one is a pinstripe vellum, if you can see that. Super cute, I like that. On this cardstock, we have more of that polka dot. We have some Tim Holtz ephemera, and then I found this one on Pinterest as well. Never underestimate the power of a woman with a sewing machine, and it looks like it's on a quilt, so she will definitely like that one. It's right up her alley. She's got an interesting sense of humor. And this one we have some more of that vintage lace on the trim. I took a torn up piece of pattern paper, some elastic, and a button, and just glued it down for a little decoration. We have more of that washi tape on this one, on both sides. More paper, music, more sewing. Lots of places for her to write in here. On this one I actually found in another Tim Holtz package, it was just this little fussy cut dress form, which I thought was cute, so I just glued it down to the page. So I think it added to the little pattern page. And on this side we have more scraps of fabric, some thread, and a little gold button, because my mom likes that fancy stuff. Another corner pocket. This one's actually a flip up. I saw this on Paula Lemon on her channel. I think I said her name right. I hope so. And I love that. That's cute. So we have a little flip up for extra writing, and it's a corner tuck. And then a little tea card. I had to throw this in here because my mom drinks massive amounts of tea, and the polka dot tea kettle just couldn't pass up. It was adorable. Throw that in there. More sewing right there. And then I made this little banner. Give another shout out here. Patricia Viramontes, and I hope I said her name right as well. Another person who heavily influenced my ideas in this book. I learned how to make this little banner, flag banner out of book pages on her page. And I've got some vintage lace trim up here, another metal button that I sewed on, and then I added a little butterfly piece of ephemera here. And tucked in we have another one of those vintage patterns, which I thought was cute. Okay, that's the end of that signature. And our last signature, oh my god, we're almost done, guys. More polka dot vellum. Now this one we actually have a pocket on the front, which I actually didn't mean to do when I was putting these together. If you notice, none of them have anything underneath the vellum so that it just looks like part of that cardstock, but I glued it down to the wrong side, so it's there. But at least they're both polka dots. It is what it is at this point, but it's a big pocket. This will hold some stuff. We have some more pattern. It's a dressmaking guide. I thought that was nice. Turn that into a journaling card. On the back here we have, oh my god, it's so big it doesn't lay flat. Another pocket I made here, added some lace and a butterfly. This is actually not adhered down all the way, so you could actually take these tickets out and show you. It's like a band, so she could still tuck some stuff in there too. These are some more little Tim Holtz ephemera tickets. This is actually a giant spool of thread that I made into a journaling card. I thought that was cute. Let's see if we can get that back in there. Okay. And this one, I added a little piece of tulle and a button. I fussy cut out a dress form out of some of this pattern paper and glued it onto the bag because I thought it was cute. I had some extra scraps and I wanted to use them up. There's actually a torn up piece, hard to see, torn up piece of pattern paper tucked behind it. So the bag is actually open. This little paper bag is open back here. So it's a pocket back here and the bag itself is a pocket. So my mom actually once, a long time ago, sent me to one of her sewing stores to get a pressure foot for her sewing machine. I don't even know what that does. And she sent me with the business card so I knew where I was going and her little punch card, right? Here's another piece of trifold of the pattern paper. That's the last of it that was left over. And so I went and I found her pressure foot, obviously, and I used her punch card, but I never gave it back. I have had these in a box for years. I swear to you, maybe almost 10 years. It is so old. So I'm finally giving it back. So here you go, Mom. And I turned them into journaling cards. This one was good. It was already blank on the back. So, I mean, I'm not sure she would write on it. Maybe she will, but it's funny nonetheless. This one I added some cardstock to the back too, so she could write on it, and some tulle. That's just funny to me, and I'm sure she will laugh when she sees that. I'm actually very excited to give this to her tonight. Yay! Okay, and more sewing down here. I say sewing, and I really didn't sew. I just poked a bunch of holes and weeded some DMC through. Cross stitch is the only thing I know how to do, folks. Some more vintage lace trim here. I actually found this stamp on clearance at Hobby Lobby, and I knew it would be perfect for this journal. So it was $5 well spent. This is so cute. And I didn't want to do it in black. I didn't think it would go with the theme. So I found it was some kind of cocoa, I can't remember the color of it, but it's archival ink. And it was in the clearance aisle too. And it came out so pretty. And I tried not to ink it up too much because I wanted it to look faded, and I think I accomplished that really well. It's gorgeous. And then I have a gold paper clip and another little piece of that pattern paper, and I glued it down onto some cardstock. So it's just a little card there. And I added a little satin bow that actually came off of an old dress of my daughter's. So, and I'm not sure actually which one or where I found it, or I don't even remember. Oh my God, there's so much stuff in here. So on the back of this one was the competing photo I found for the front cover, and I decided to go with the other one, and I wanted to still use this one because I had both, so I just backed it with some cardstock and threw it in here because it's really cute. Okay, this one's a book page from all those other book pages I was using. Some more sewing there. Okay, and this is another banner. This one I actually did by accident because in my cutting this up for another pocket I made on one of the other pages, I ended up with this little rounded piece of cardstock. And I figured it would make a cute little tuck if I managed to get it in here somewhere. But in the process, I actually cut a small piece right here. So I just added some of that little women's scrap on top of it and added the other scrap I had left over, and it just turned into a banner, and it worked out okay, and it actually looked cute. So I kept it. I added this black rose that actually came off. It was actually falling off of a little outfit that I got from a friend. So I just took it off the rest of the way by cutting some of the threads, and then I just glued it into the book with some lace, and it worked out really well. So again, it's a tuck, and I just have this little piece of ephemera that I thought was cute because some of the washi tape has Paris on it, so I added that on there. Thought that was pretty cute. Okay, and then I found this on Pinterest as well, Singer Sewing Machines, another gold paper clip. It's just another journaling card there. More of that measuring tape, and that's another piece of ephemera I made with some of the leftover Aida cloth. This one actually got coffee dyed. I did not do it to the other one, but this one got coffee dyed. Added a scrap piece of fabric, some random DMC thread left over from the project on the other page, a button, and then another needle pocket. And I just glued it all together and threw it in there because it's, you know, extra stuff, and this thing's got everything in the kitchen sink. Okay, and then we have a double corner tuck, which I thought was nice. So in this one, oh no, that one got stuck too. It's just the full sewing machine instead of just the top. We've got the whole stand and the old-fashioned pedal and everything into a journaling card. And then another dress pattern, which is very cute. And just a tiny touch of sewing between the two pockets. And that last sheet of vellum. Now on the back cover, add to the little manila envelope I made, or file folder I made a little manila envelope. So it's a full envelope. I ended up covering the outside of it at the last minute because I had this idea. So we've got washi tape here. Looks like it came untucked. I'll have to fix that. If I can get it, I got it, yay. But I fell in love with this, and I had to print it out and use it because my mom had this obsession with taking us to the library and library books, and I don't know, libraries always remind me of my mother. So I found this old library card insert thing, and I printed it off and I glued it down in here so it was, you know, it's like her library book. Added some washi tape, and inside, guys, oh my god, I sewed something. I made a journaling card to look like a patchwork quilt. I found some scraps of fabric I had, cut them in squares, tried to make it look as messy as possible on purpose, just to reiterate to my mom that yes, you've tried to teach me to sew for years and I keep fighting you on it, and now you have a reminder of how bad I am at it forever and ever. So it's, I mean, you can kind of journal on it, you kind of can't. Either way, it's cute. So that goes in here. And that is it, folks. That is the whole kit and caboodle. And I'm very nervous about giving it to her, but I know she used to journal. I found some journals of hers when I was a kid. And so I'm thinking, you know, she needs something fun, something unique, something straight from the heart from me to write in and put some memories down for the last little part of living that we get when we get older. And I think it's cute. I think it really speaks to kind of who she is and the things that she likes, and I'm really excited. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comments, or things that I can do to improve in the future, things maybe I could have added. I thought about adding more lace. I don't know. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys again later. Stay fabulous. Bye.